There's something undeniably powerful about oral connection between two lovers. It's not just about pleasure, it's about trust, closeness, and the kind of passion that makes a woman feel completely desired. When a woman allows her partner to explore her body with the mouth, it isn't only a sexual act, it's a surrender, a statement that she feels safe, cherished, and turned on at a level that words can't fully explain. Women love oral connection because it awakens every nerve, every hidden corner of the body that craves attention. The warmth of breath against the skin, the wetness of the tongue, the gentle tease before the deep, focused touch. These are sensations that make her body arch, her heartbeat race, and her mind dissolve into pure pleasure. Unlike quick or distracted intimacy, oral sex demands patience. It requires a partner to slow down, listen to her breathing, notice the subtle shifts in her hips, and read her body's language. Women feel this presence deeply. They know when someone is fully devoted to giving them pleasure, and that devotion can be more arousing than penetration itself. There's also an emotional current that flows through oral connection. It makes a woman feel adored in the rawest, most vulnerable way. When her body is taken into a lover's mouth, it tells her she is not just accepted but celebrated. That level of worship can trigger an orgasm that feels not only physical but deeply emotional, leaving her trembling and fulfilled. Women also love how oral connection gives them permission to let go. They don't have to perform. They don't have to hide their moans, their movements, or the wetness of their desire. They can simply receive. For many, this freedom is intoxicating, and it strengthens the bond with the partner who gave it to them. Oral connection is more than a technique. It's a gift that combines passion, respect, and raw sexual energy. Women love it because it makes them feel seen, desired, and unforgettable. If you want to bring a deeper level of closeness and pleasure into your sex life, make it a priority. Take your time. Explore your partner's body with hunger and care. Give her the kind of oral connection that leaves her weak, smiling, and craving more. Don't wait until the next time you're in bed to think about this. Decide now to be the kind of lover who gives fully, who doesn't rush, and who understands the beauty of pleasuring a woman with your mouth. Start tonight. Show her how much you crave every part of her and let her love you even more for it. When a man goes down on a woman, he's given her more than just physical pleasure. He's given her the kind of attention that feels like complete worship of her body. Women love this because it tells them that their desire is worth slowing down for. Every kiss, every lick, every warm breath against her skin becomes a signal that she is not only wanted but craved. Unlike quick touches or routine sex, oral pleasure is deeply personal. It's face to body, mouth to skin, and it requires the kind of closeness that can't be faked. That raw closeness is what makes women feel like their partner truly sees them in their most vulnerable form. The act of using your mouth on a woman communicates things that words never could. It says, "I want all of you." It shows her that her scent, her taste, and her reactions are intoxicating enough to keep you focused entirely on her. This level of devotion is why women often describe oral sex as one of the most intimate acts they can share. It makes them feel admired without conditions. When a man eagerly spends time between her thighs, she knows he's not just going through motions. She knows he's present, tuned in, and excited by the experience of giving her pleasure. That kind of reassurance makes her relax and open up even more. For many women, this is about more than orgasm. It's about feeling chosen and cherished in a way that is completely physical yet powerfully emotional. When she feels her partner taking time to taste her, to linger, to explore, she feels a level of intimacy that goes beyond touch. Her body becomes the center of attention, her moans become the soundtrack, and her pleasure becomes the only goal. That sense of being adored is why oral sex often stays with her long after the act is over. She remembers how deeply desired she felt, how uninhibited she became, and how fully connected she was in that moment. What also makes oral sex so worshipful is the surrender it asks from both sides. The giver must devote themselves fully, and the receiver must allow themselves to be completely vulnerable. That vulnerability builds trust, and trust deepens desire. Women love knowing that their partner is not afraid to get close, to taste, to stay there until their body trembles. It proves that her partner is willing to give as much as he wants to receive, and that balance creates a stronger, hotter connection. This is why oral sex is not just foreplay in her eyes. It's an act of love, of hunger, and of total acceptance that makes her feel like a goddess in the most natural way. The biggest mistake most people make when giving oral is rushing. Women don't want someone diving in without thought, trying to get it over with quickly. They want patience, they want build up, they want to feel the anticipation rising inside them until they can't hold back anymore. Slow, patient attention tells her that her pleasure is worth savoring. It makes every lick, every kiss, and every pause more intense because her body has time to register what's happening. The slower you move, the more her nerves awaken, and the more she feels each movement sink into her body. That's what separates a forgettable experience from one that leaves her shaking. When you slow down, you're not just teasing her, you're training her body to respond to your touch. Think of it like lighting a fire. You don't just throw gasoline on it and expect it to burn steady. You build it carefully, adding small sparks that grow into uncontrollable flames. Women feel this difference immediately. A gentle kiss on her thighs, a slow trace of your tongue around her clit, even pausing to breathe hot air across her wetness, all of it creates waves of tension that explode harder when release finally comes. Patience isn't about being lazy, it's about knowing how to control the rhythm so her body begs for the next move. Another reason patience works is because it shows presence. Women can feel when someone is distracted or mechanical, but when you slow down and take your time, it tells her you're paying attention to every reaction. You notice when her hips shift, when her breathing changes, when a moan escapes her throat. These little signals guide you, letting you know when to keep teasing and when to dive deeper. That awareness makes her feel seen and completely understood. She knows you're not there for your ego, you're there for her satisfaction. And that alone can make her arousal skyrocket. The truth is, patience heightens both the physical and emotional connection. Physically, it allows her nerves to build sensitivity until the slightest touch makes her tremble. Emotionally, it gives her the confidence to let go, to trust that you won't rush through her pleasure. Every second of restraint adds to her anticipation, and when you finally give her what she's been waiting for, the orgasm hits with a force that feels unstoppable. Women love when a partner knows how to slow things down, because patience is the secret weapon that transforms good oral into an unforgettable experience. One of the most important skills during oral is learning how to read her body language. A woman's body will always tell you the truth, even when her words don't. The way her hips lift towards your mouth, the sharpness of her breaths, the small tremors in her thighs, these are signals that guide you more clearly than anything else. When you pay attention to them, you stop guessing and start truly pleasing her. Women love when a partner notices the little things, because it shows you care about how she feels, not just about finishing the act. That awareness makes her feel safe enough to let go and enjoy every second. Listening to her body isn't about being overly cautious, it's about being connected. If you sense her pulling back slightly, it doesn't mean stop completely, it means she wants you to adjust. Maybe change the pressure, maybe slow down for a moment, maybe circle around her clit instead of staying in one spot. When you respond to her without her having to say a word, it tells her that you're in sync with her desires. That kind of unspoken communication is incredibly erotic because it turns sex into a dance where you're both moving together without missing a beat. It's also important to understand that every woman's body reacts differently. What makes one woman moan might make another feel numb. That's why her signals are so valuable. When her breathing deepens, you know she's dropping into pleasure. When she grabs your hair or presses your head closer, you know she wants more intensity. When she arches her back, you know you're hitting the perfect rhythm. Ignoring these signs is like ignoring a map. You'll wander around without ever reaching the destination. Women respect a lover who pays attention because it proves you see her as unique, not just as another body. The more tuned in you are, the more trust she'll give you. She'll stop holding back, stop worrying if she looks or sounds a certain way, and instead focus on the raw sensations you're creating. That level of connection is rare, and it's what makes oral sex unforgettable. Women crave the kind of lover who notices everything, from the shiver in their legs to the way their nipples harden as they get closer. When you follow her body's lead, she doesn't just feel good physically, she feels cared for, understood, and deeply wanted in the most personal way possible. What makes oral unforgettable for a woman is variety. A tongue that only does the same motion over and over becomes predictable, and predictability dulls the experience. Women crave surprise, shifts in rhythm, and changes in intensity that keep their nerves guessing. Using the flat of your tongue to press firmly against her clit gives her steady stimulation, but switching to the tip for flicks or gentle teasing shocks her body in the best way. Circling slowly, then changing direction, then pausing just long enough to build tension makes every moment feel new. Variety prevents her from getting used to the sensation too quickly, which is what keeps her arousal climbing higher and higher. Think of oral like playing with contrasts. Pressure versus softness, fast teasing versus slow indulgence, broad strokes versus pinpoint focus. Each adjustment resets her sensitivity, making the next touch feel fresh and more intense. For example, tracing your tongue lightly along her lips before diving back to her clit makes her shiver because it breaks the rhythm she was expecting. Alternating between suction and light flicks gives her different layers of stimulation at once, overwhelming her nerves in a way that builds powerful orgasms. It's not about being complicated, it's about knowing when to change gears and surprise her body with something new. Women also respond strongly to teasing through variety. Pulling back for a second, letting your breath hover, then returning with firmer strokes makes her crave your mouth even more. Switching between exploring her clit, licking deeper down, and returning to her clit again keeps her guessing where the next wave of pleasure will come from. That unpredictability makes her more responsive because her body never fully settles into routine. It's a constant build and release of tension, and that cycle drives her wild. The longer you sustain it with variety, the harder her eventual climax will hit. The beauty of variety is that it shows creativity and effort. A woman can tell when a man is just repeating the same motion mindlessly versus when he's experimenting and discovering what makes her moan louder. That effort communicates that her pleasure matters enough to be explored fully. She feels like she's not just being pleasured, she's being savored, and every new technique tells her she's worth the time it takes to try. Variety isn't just technique, it's artistry, and when done right, it makes her orgasms not only intense but deeply memorable. Confidence is one of the sexiest things a man can bring into oral. A hesitant touch or nervous tongue makes a woman feel unsure, but a bold and eager mouth makes her melt instantly. Women love knowing that their partner actually wants to taste them, that he's not doing it as a chore but as a craving. When you go down on her with hunger, she feels that energy through every stroke of your tongue. Confidence tells her she doesn't need to worry about how she looks, how she tastes, or whether she's taking too long. Instead, she can relax into the experience and let herself be consumed by it. That freedom to let go comes directly from the certainty you show her. Being confident doesn't mean being rough or careless. It means being comfortable in your own desire and showing that you know what you're doing. Women can tell when a man is second guessing himself, and that hesitation takes them out of the moment. But when you spread her thighs and dive in with steady, purposeful movements, she feels secure enough to sink deeper into her arousal. Confidence in oral is about owning the act completely, tasting her without hesitation, and staying focused as though nothing else in the world matters. That level of presence is intoxicating for her. Confidence also creates a feedback loop with her body. The more certain and hungry you are, the more she responds. Her moans grow louder, her hips push closer, and her hands clutch tighter. That in turn feeds your confidence, and the cycle keeps building. She doesn't want you to ask permission with every move. She wants to feel that you're sure of yourself and reading her signals naturally. A confident lover trusts his instincts and trusts her body to guide him, and that trust is what allows the encounter to flow without awkwardness. Another layer to confidence is enthusiasm. Women love when a man acts like he can't get enough of them, when his mouth lingers like her body is the best thing he's ever tasted. That passion alone can make her climax faster because she feels so desired. The truth is, technique is important, but without confidence, it falls flat. A confident man doesn't just give oral, he devours her with intention. That energy shows her he's not only capable of giving her pleasure, but thrilled to do it, and that thrill is what keeps her coming back for more. Confidence is the foundation of unforgettable oral sex because it sets the tone from the very beginning. When a man approaches a woman's body with hesitation, she feels that uncertainty immediately, and it can pull her out of the moment. But when he opens her legs with purpose, lowers himself between them with ease, and starts exploring with his mouth like he's exactly where he wants to be, she relaxes into the experience. Women crave the energy of someone who is sure of themselves, someone who doesn't second guess whether he should be there, but instead devours her with the kind of focus that says nothing else matters. That certainty allows her to trust him and surrender to the sensations. A confident lover doesn't just touch her, he takes his time unbothered by how long it takes to make her lose control. She feels the difference when he's not rushing or worrying if she's too wet, too loud, or too close to release. Instead, he embraces all of it, showing her that every reaction is welcome. Confidence communicates acceptance, and that makes her drop her guard. When she knows he's not questioning himself, she stops questioning herself too. Her thighs unclench, her moans get louder, and she lets her body lead the way. That permission to let go is only possible when she feels his steady assurance. Confidence in oral is also about enthusiasm. A woman can tell when a man is going through the motions versus when he's genuinely hungry for her. The way he grips her thighs tighter, the way he stays locked in place when she squirms, the way he moans against her skin, those are signals of real desire. Women find it incredibly arousing when a man eats them like he enjoys every taste. That enthusiasm amplifies the pleasure because it makes her feel like she's irresistible. Nothing tells a woman she's sexy more than a man completely lost in the act of tasting her without hesitation. The beauty of confidence is that it doesn't require perfection. It's not about knowing every trick. It's about being comfortable enough to explore and respond without fear. Women don't need flawless technique as much as they need certainty and presence. A confident man listens to her body, adapts when needed, but never breaks the rhythm with doubt. His steady mouth, his hungry tongue, and his refusal to shy away tell her everything she needs to know. That unwavering energy not only brings her pleasure, but makes her feel deeply wanted in the most raw, undeniable way. Oral sex has a unique way of creating a bond that goes far beyond physical release. When a man takes the time to focus entirely on his partner's pleasure, she feels it in more than just her body. She feels it in her heart, in her trust, and in the closeness that follows. Women love this because it turns sex into more than friction. It becomes an act of giving, of receiving, and of letting go together. The orgasm is powerful, yes, but what lingers is the memory of being so fully cared for in such a vulnerable state. That feeling ties her to the person who gave it to her, making the connection stronger every time. What makes oral so bonding is the level of vulnerability it demands. She is exposed, open, and completely dependent on her partner's touch. To let someone in that close is not something women take lightly. When a man treats that moment with passion, patience, and devotion, it reassures her that she can trust him with all of herself. That trust doesn't disappear when the act is over. It seeps into every part of the relationship, deepening the intimacy and making her want to give back with just as much passion. Oral sex becomes more than pleasure. It becomes proof of love, respect, and desire. Another reason oral builds stronger bonds is because it requires time and focus. Unlike quick thrusts or casual touches, oral is deliberate. It forces both partners to slow down and stay present in the moment. That presence creates an emotional current that's hard to break. She knows she is the center of attention, and that feeling of being fully seen makes her attach more deeply to the experience. It's not about rushing to orgasm, it's about building waves of trust and closeness that leave her feeling both sexually satisfied and emotionally secure. The after effects of oral connection often outlast the physical act. A woman who has been taken to the edge and pushed over by her partner's mouth remembers how cared for she felt, the sounds she made, the way her body gave in, and the look in his eyes as he stayed locked on her. It all stays with her. That memory isn't just about the orgasm, it's about the closeness they created together. Every time he goes down on her with that same passion, the bond grows tighter and the relationship becomes not only more satisfying in bed, but stronger in every other part of life.